that a mixed race woman married to a Jewish guy could be elected president of this country. And I think that it had nothing to do with policy. I think this was a referendum of cultural resentment in this country.
Was it though? All right, well, as you just watched, Bakari Sellers, David Axelrod, who had clarity before the election, but seems to have lost that clarity after the election, Joy Reid, Sunny Hostin, they're all blaming Kamala Harris's loss on the character of the American electorate. And I think that's a big mistake. Because when you do that, number one, it's bad analysis and it's incredibly lazy. But number two, it only works to shield or provide cover for the mistakes that the Democratic Party has been making.
You know, things are getting bad for the left wing, for the woke cults, whenever Ana Kasparian is absolutely going nuclear on everybody. In this particular video, she's going after Sunny Hostin, Joy Behar, Whoopi Goldberg, and The View. But really, she's going after everyone. She's absolutely going scorched earth on the left wing, on the Democrats, because believe it or not, you know, I know that Ana Kasparian has been coming around to the right wing. She's been having a lot of common sense takes, but she 100% still wants the Democrat candidate to win. She still wanted Kamala Harris to win, and she always will want the Democrat candidate to win, at least as far as I can tell. That's how she's going to be. So she's trying to make the left wing, the Democrats, better. And they're not trying to make themselves better at all. So Ana Kasparian is forced to just go scorched earth on these people. Let's get into this clip here where Ana Kasparian absolutely destroys Whoopi Goldberg, Sunny Hostin, and The View, and also these woke CNN hosts.
This is the second time that Democrats bet the house on white women and suburban white women. And this is the second time they've been left at the altar.
There were appeals to racism in this campaign, and there is racial bias in this country, and there is sexism in this country. And anybody who thinks that that did not in any way impact on the outcome of this race is wrong.
Black voters came through for Kamala Harris. White women voters did not.
I was so hopeful that a mixed race woman married to a Jewish guy could be elected president of this country. And I think that it had nothing to do with policy. I think this was a referendum of cultural resentment in this country.
Real quick, before we get into Ana, isn't it just crazy? Like, I know that it's being said over and over again, but it is mind-blowing to me that these people, and Sunny Hostin has she says it's nothing to do with policy that Kamala Harris lost. Everything that you are saying has to do with identity politics and nothing to do with policy. She just got finished saying in that same clip, The View, Sunny Hostin did, I thought that a mixed race woman married to a Jewish guy could win the election. Nothing to do with, I thought that someone with this policy would be able to win this election, would be able to win over the American people. Nothing to do with that. And then she goes on to say that this election had nothing to do with policy. It had everything to do with policy. That's why you're so shocked that the identity politics didn't work. Because people stopped voting on that nonsense, on that BS, and they started voting on things that actually matter to the United States of America and to the people of America.
Was it though? All right, well, as you just watched, Bakari Sellers, David Axelrod, who had clarity before the election, but seems to have lost that clarity after the election, Joy Reid, Sunny Hostin, they're all blaming Kamala Harris's loss on the character of the American electorate. And I think that's a big mistake. Because when you do that, number one, it's bad analysis and it's incredibly lazy. But number two, it only works to shield or provide cover for the mistakes that the Democratic Party has been making. Now, look, later on that episode of The View, Hostin and Alyssa Farah Griffin got into an argument over Hostin blaming white women specifically for voting against their own interests. So let's take a look at that.
Why do you think that uneducated white women voted against their reproductive health freedoms? And why do you think Latino men voted in favor of someone that's going to deport, says he's going to deport the majority of his community?
White women like being called uneducated white women. I think the economy matters, national security matters. But when you put people in these boxes, I think that's a takeaway from this race.
We have to look at the demographics.
Also, I think it's worth noting that, you know, there are some red states that attempted to ban abortion or severely restrict abortion, but the people in those states voted in favor of ballot initiatives to legalize abortion, to reverse the negative impact of the reversal of Roe v. Wade. So saying that people are voting against their best interests kind of doesn't make sense when it comes to the reproductive rights issue, because what was Kamala Harris supposed to do? She was going, like, let's say she got elected. She would have come into office with a Senate controlled by Republicans. And I don't know, has it already been determined? Have Democrats lost the House?
Yeah, almost certainly.
Okay, so basically a Republican controlled Congress. How the hell was she supposed to pass or codify reproductive rights on a national level? It wasn't gonna happen, and it wouldn't have happened if Democrats had control of the House or even a slim majority in the Senate. It just wasn't going to happen. She's not.
If you enjoy content like this, then make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It really does help me out a ton. Let's get back to the video.
Going to steamroll the Senate filibuster, which requires 60 votes in order to pass legislation. It wasn't gonna happen. So like, I think what Alyssa Farah Griffin said there, and I never thought I would say this, but she's right. She's right. And I also think there's an issue with the way like liberals feel free to just demonize white people in general, right? Like it turns people off. And if they're constantly told over and over again that they're the enemy, they're everything that's wrong with this country, every bad thing that's happened here is because of, the white European settlers and the white people who were here. Like if one party is telling them they're the bad guys and they're not wanted and they're the root of every problem in the country, do you think that part of the electorate's gonna vote for you?
Yeah, there's so many different problems in all those statements. So number one, you're misunderstanding why she lost. If you're thinking that she lost, not to say there's no racism or sexism against her, that's absurd. Of course there's some, right? But if you think that's the main reason that she lost, you've misdiagnosed the problem. The main reason she lost is because Democrats don't deliver and they run establishment campaigns and not populist campaigns. And this is so stark because there's only two people in the country among the politicians that have run as populists. One is a fake populist, Donald Trump. One's a real populist, that's Bernie Sanders, right? And both of them had miraculous runs. And the media acknowledges, oh my God, but we thought Bernie was a joke. We thought he was gonna get 1% against Hillary Clinton. He got 48%, nearly won the whole damn thing. And in 2020, he won the first 3 primary states. Oh my God, that's amazing, right? Donald Trump in this miraculous political comeback wins the second time. Those are the only two people that have ever run as populists in my lifetime for president. And they both did spectacularly well. Every establishment, Republican and Democrat that runs gets clowned, right? But they can't figure, they're like, oh, no, that's not it. And remember, Bernie's on the left.
By the way, I still don't think the general public is awake to, the donor class. I don't think they're awake to what's happening with these politicians and the lobbyists and things like that. But I do think they're starting to wake up to the fact that they're just straight up being lied to. And because Kamala Harris was running on the abortion issue, it makes no sense. Because Donald Trump has come out over and over again and said, I do not want to push the abortion topic any further. He does not believe in a national abortion ban, which I disagree with. I wish he did believe. I wish every conservative candidate would believe in a national abortion ban, because I think abortion is pretty evil personally. But regardless, he has said over and over again, I do not want a national abortion ban. I would not sign that. I would not sign off on that. If that came to my desk, I would say no. And so if Donald Trump doesn't want to push that any further, and also Kamala Harris has been in office the last 4 years, along with Joe Biden, nothing is going to change on the abortion topic. So all of these people, like they're basically banking on the Democrat voters and the American people being dumb enough to think that Donald Trump is going to do exactly what he said that he is not going to do. And also Kamala Harris doing something that she hasn't done the last 4 years when she's had the ability to do so, or has the same amount of ability to do so that she would if she got reelected or got elected as president. It's nonsense. Neither of them was going to change anything. Neither of them were going to change anything in regards to the abortion topic. And I think the American people are starting to wake up to that fact that they were being lied to there. As far as the populist versus establishment stuff, I don't think And by the way, Cenk has like a bit of a different definition, as a lot of other people do, to the populist term. Basically, what he means is people who are not beholden to donor money and lobbyists and things like that, which I agree with. I think that's who we should be electing every time. I don't think the general American public is really awake to that fact yet. I think most people, if you're watching videos like this one, of course, you're probably like, yes, I know that. But the general people who are just going about their day, they go to work Monday through Friday, they watch football on Saturday and Sunday. Like, those people are not worried about the establishment or the lobbyists taking control of our politicians or our politicians being sold out to China. They don't care about that stuff. They don't know. All they know is Kamala Harris is a liar and an idiot. And Donald Trump is saying things that will actually improve my personal life. So, I do agree with Cenk here, but I don't think just simply running as a populist will win you an election. And I think we kind of saw that with Bernie Sanders. I know he was pushed out by the establishment, but still, I don't think he would have won the election, in my opinion.
Left, Trump's on the right. So it's not even a left-right thing. It's definitely not a racial thing. Bernie's terrific on race. Trump's terrible on race. But they both won. Oh, I'm sorry, Bernie didn't win ultimately, but he had a miraculous rise up in the polls. And so if you're looking at it in an unbiased way, clearly the American people are saying we don't like the elitism. And then here's a bunch of elites on television who are almost all millionaires telling you it's your fault and it's uneducated white women's fault. Okay, that leads to problem number 2, which is what Anna was talking about. If you keep insulting, by the way, not only some people, which they won't go free, but also the majority of people in this country. Do you think that's a good political strategy to say to 3/4 of the country that's white, you guys are the problem. It's your fault we lost. And it's your fault for being so uneducated and so white. I mean, that is the worst political strategy I've ever seen. I mean, that makes some of the extreme leftists that we were right about and had terrible political strategy, et cetera, it makes them look like good strategists when you do that strategy.
I wouldn't go that far.
Okay, I mean, it's as bad as it could possibly be. And then there's the fact that a lot of the things they say isn't remotely true. Like in the beginning, Sunny Hostin was talking about, black woman and with a Jewish husband. I had this, like, wait, are you saying that like Jewish people can't do well in this country in politics? Because there's that stereotype also exists. What are you talking about? Bernie Sanders, again, legendary in how well he did. Jamie Raskin, one of the most popular figures in politics, and Josh Shapiro, an incredibly successful and popular governor in Pennsylvania. What are you guys talking about? It doesn't have anything to do with them being Jewish or black or anything like that. It has to do with the substance of their campaigns. But people on TV hate substance.
Yeah, it's just
everybody on the left hates substance, and they disregard it because they have none. And that's what happens whenever you form a party around no morals and no principles and no values. I keep talking about this all the time. People like David Pakman are wondering why they're hemorrhaging so many subscribers and paid members after they lose the election. It's because they have no morals and no principles, no values. All they care about is being on the winning team. So whenever your team loses and there's nothing attaching people to that team other than the fact that they won last time, they're going to leave, of course. When the right wing loses, they have a lot of Christians and people with actual conservative values. There's nowhere else to go with those values. So they have no choice but to rally around the people that they have, but to rally around and donate to, the other members of the right wing, the large organizations within the right wing that can help them win the next election. They have no choice but to do that, So anyway, let me know in the comments what you guys think about what Cenk Uygur and Ana Kasparian are saying about the left-wing media and just the huge mistakes that they're making. They're absolutely going nuclear on them. I'm loving this arc from Cenk and Ana. I don't agree with them very often, but there's no doubt that Cenk and Ana are completely spot on this issue, and they're fed up with it, dude. They're tired of losing. They know the right strategy to take. Cenk is completely right. Going the populist route is the right strategy to take for the left wing. I don't think they would ever do it, though. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about this whole Ana Kasparian versus The View and the left wing woke media in the comments.